Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel for the very first time. This is Ross. I'm Ross, and I will be letting Bob Ross teach me how to paint. So let's get right into it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself as we go. So, if you've ever done a Bob Ross before, you know that the first thing he does is use his liquid white, which in the first episode he calls magic white for some reason. Not really sure why, but he does a thin, even coating over the whole canvas. So here we go. So, while I do this, I'll give you a little background on myself. I have no art training whatsoever. The last art class that I took was in probably the 5th grade. After that, I was a band kid. I play the tuba, and I have a bachelor's degree in audio technology. I have always been interested in painting though. But I never felt like I was really any good at it. I would always get frustrated at anything that I tried to do because it didn't instantly look like whatever I had in my head. A lot of stuff ended up getting thrown away that way. But, you know, I guess that's how it goes. So, when everything started happening this year, as an off-Broadway sound engineer, I and everyone else in the entertainment industry was out of a job. So, you know, I was hanging out bored and decided I'd love to see if I could try my hand at painting again. So I had a few supplies and decided that a fun way to learn would be to do Bob Ross paintings. So here we are. Alright, so I've just about got a nice even coat of this liquid white on here. But I have done 5 Bob Ross paintings so far, and I've used the liquid white on 3 of them. And what I've noticed is that I never seem to get it thin enough. So, I actually looked up a trick online, and they said to try and wipe it down a little bit just to get some of the excess liquid white off there. So I'm going to try that on this video. Hopefully that worked out for me. I love Bob Ross and everything he has to say, and his message here at the beginning of episode 1 is great, so I think we should all take a listen to that.
Hi, I'm Bob Ross, and for the next 13 weeks, I'll be your host as we experience the joy of painting. I think each of us, sometime during our life, has wanted to paint a picture. I think there's an artist hid in the bottom of every single one of us. And here we will try to show you how to bring that artist out, to put it on canvas, because you too can paint almighty pictures. You know, we have avoided painting for so long because I think all of our lives we've been told that you have to go to school half your life, maybe even have to be blessed by Michelangelo at birth to ever be able to paint a picture. And here we want to show you that that's not true, that you can paint a picture right along with us. Each week we'll use the same colors, we'll use the same equipment. So if you have your brush and palette ready next week, you can paint right along with us.
Let's give this a try. So we got our yellow, let's throw some green on there. Whew. Alright. Now. Let's got this cad yellow right in the middle. Mine looks a little bit darker than his does, but that's okay. Now he's using the Prussian blue. So I don't have all the exact colors that Bob has, because I already had some oil paints available to me, and then I bought a few more of the most used ones that I've seen on Bob Ross's videos. Some of those are in this video, some of them aren't, but you know, I kind of make do with what I have, and like Bob Ross would say, if it makes me happy, then that's great. Alright, now we'll take our white, get a little bit of that on there. So I never put too much paint out because I'm a poor artist. So, you know, I just kind of dole it out as I need it, but, you know, use as much as I have to. So that's me trying to beat the brush like Bob Ross does. I'm not doing it as strong as he does because I'm not in an actual studio and I don't want to get paint and paint thinner everywhere. Also, can anyone tell me how Bob Ross gets his paintbrush clean just by beating them? Because even when I'm wiping it down with a paper towel, there's still paint on there. I don't know how just beating it gets all the paint out. But anyway, let's get started on that white. See, it's times like this where I feel like my white paint isn't really sticking to the painting, and I'm not sure why. No, I'm not sure about that. Okay. That's getting there. Sometimes I just have to play around and see what works, try different techniques. I just kind of generally try and emulate Bob as best as I can. So basically what I try to do is watch a little bit of Bob's video at each time, just enough so that I have, you know, a decent amount to lay down on the canvas, but also enough that I can remember all the techniques that he's using and everything that he's actually put down since the last time I looked up from my canvas. So let's get started on these trees. So Bob uses a scarlet and blue for this first little set of trees that he's laying down. I assume these are going to be some kind of background trees or something. Let me clean off my brush. And Bob said just a little bit of blue and a lot of the scarlet. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. Alright, so he's got a big guy coming. Quite a bit down, he says. Really poke into it to get it to come out. I kind of like to give myself a line here just to sort of know where I want to place this guy. His is pretty big and majestic. That looks pretty good. And then he's got a little friend. Let me get a little more paint. Alright, little friend over here. This tree is not as big, but that's okay. Now, one of the problems that I definitely have is over mixing the paints, and then it ends up as a weird colored blob. Kind of like that. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Sometimes when that happens, I'll just kind of dab a little more of my favorite colored paint on there and see what happens. That looks kind of cool. Alright, now he's got a bunch of land going on down here. And one more little tree friend on the side. Alright, so let's finish up this guy over here. That branch there got a little bit out of control, but that's okay. Alright, I think I like that. So, now I think he's going to add some trunks to these trees. Let me watch how he does that. Alright, so we're not just adding tree branches, we are also shading them with some white. We're going to be using the palette knife, which is the bane of my existence. I hate that thing, but let's see how it goes. Here's my palette knife. So Bob says he gets a little roll on there. I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing that right. Because when I try to put it down, it doesn't seem to stick in the same way that his does. You know, you can still tell that I'm drawing it there, but just not as much. If you have any tips on that, or anything else for that matter, let me know. I mean, I guess that's okay. You know, it lays it down just not quite as thick as his. I feel like I have a good bit of paint on there too. Now that definitely does not look like Bob Ross's. I don't know how he draws tree trunks so skinny with this palette. Now we are going to shade in some of these branches that we just drew with some titanium white. I think it's just not really coming off on there. Or a little too much sometimes. Or it just gets eaten up by the brown paint. That could be worse. I feel like I kind of got a little far to the edges on that tree with those limbs, so I was just trying to thicken it out a little bit. So for this next part, Bob's got us painting some leaves on these trees now. So he has us using our green and cad yellow. This is kind of my favorite part because I love how this usually turns out. So I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this green. Ooh, that might have been way too much. Sometimes you just gotta give it another try. Looks like I'm gonna need a little more yellow. Maybe that's a lot of yellow, but I like the yellow. there I go, getting a little overzealous with the dabbing again. It's just kind of looking like a blob, so probably just put a little more yellow paint on there and hope it works out. Alright, so besides the trees, we also got some little bushes that we're going to fill in here, and a little more leafage on this area here. I'm using a whole lot of cad yellow right now. Maybe I'm going to put it in a new spot as well so that it's not quite so dirty. And see how that works out for me. Not sure about that one. That one might have been overdone, but at the same time, I kind of like it. Sometimes it just comes out like that. So now we're just filling in some more bushes. Now something I really have trouble with is color variety. I feel like a lot of times Bob has these little changes in color that I just can't seem to emulate. Not sure how he brings them out or lays them down on the canvas. But he says, you know, don't be scared. However it comes out is just okay. And he gives so many awesome, kind words of encouragement. What a great guy. I'm gonna get a little more cad yellow. Starting to look a little brown down here. I don't know about that. Alright. It's looking pretty cool. I like it. For this next part, we're going to be using the palette knife again, my mortal enemy. We're going to be making a path. As Bob says that a real forest needs a path. So kind of zigs it over here. I actually kind of like that. So next he highlights it with some white. Let's see if I can do that one just as well. Yeah, that came out really well. Alright. And to finish up this little path, we're gonna just blend some bushes on it. Back to the palette knife, we're going to extend out the path that we just made to do some little rock formations along the side here. Next, Bob has us doing a little puddle down here. He said that it rained last night and it's wet, so we're gonna make some wetness. Ooh. It was probably a little more blue than I wanted. Very little bit of that. He's just gonna wipe it down. A little white to give it a shimmer effect is what he says. That. Now we're going to bring some of this rocky stuff that we have into the puddle to sort of blend it all together. Now we're going to create some water lines. I'm using a little paint thinner here to get some thin white paint. So that is what Bob said to use. Ooh. Sometimes I feel like Bob can lead me astray, and what I do does not come out the same way as what he does. But you know, it comes out as my painting, which I think is really cool. Now that that's done, Bob's having us go through with this same tool, but now he's having us just pick little sticks into the painting to sort of give an illusion of distance. I guess it gives, once the paint dries, you can really tell where these little marks are at. Now that the twigs are done, Bob's got us going through and adding some bushes to our rocky area down here. Now, while I've got my bush color in use, I'm gonna do a little tweaking on these trees, because some of them I'm just not the most happy with. Wow, that already made a big difference in that guy. Oh yeah, much better. Get a couple more bushes down here. And be ready to move on. Seems like we have one last happy tree to go. He is gonna live over here. And again, I'm having that problem with the palette knife, where the paint just doesn't seem to come off. What's the deal? Finish this tree out, we are going to do pretty much the same process that we did for the other trees. We're gonna give it some of this kind of dark color. Now for this last tree, I think I'm gonna have some fun with my fan brush to get the colors on it. Now that that tree's done, it seems that all that Bob does is throw some random, like, twig-looking things. Now, I generally don't like how my stuff comes out with the palette knife, but I also know that I need to keep practicing in order to get better, so there we go. I think overall, I really like this painting. There we have it. That is a finished painting. Oh, one more thing. I've only forgotten on one painting, and that is... Oh, one more thing. I've only forgotten this on one painting, and that is to sign my name. And there you have it, a completed painting. So what do you guys think? I think it came out pretty well for my 6th painting ever. And I had a great time doing it. I mean, Bob Ross just does such a great job of giving everything to you up front. So that anyone can do it. So if you've ever been wondering if you can paint, if you've ever wanted to paint and haven't because you've been scared, you should totally try to do your own Bob Ross painting. I guarantee that if you just take it easy, pause the video as much as you need, rewind it, you're gonna have a good time. Thanks for coming to my channel. So, thanks for watching me do the first episode of Bob Ross. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what I could do better, if I used too much paint, if I used too little paint, if I did something absolutely ridiculously stupid. You know, let me know. I'm just here trying to get better. Thanks. Bye.